Okay, we are working on a 2004 Trailblazer. I just got done doing the brake booster pump on this, but now we have to replace this bearing hub. Sprayed everything down with WD-40. I actually started recording and the card was corrupt, so we are going to have to pretend like we did some of this already. But however, I took the brake bracket off and the caliper I hung over here. So we'll be able to slide that back on, and I'll put that together so you can kind of like just reverse engineer the whole process. But if you've done brakes before, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and this is a 35 millimeter nut, so we're gonna get that off real quick. All right, so that is your 35 millimeter axle nut. Comes off easy enough. Then there are 3 screws on this hub, and like I said, I just WD-40'd, and it's a good idea always to use a little bit of a brass brush, toothbrush I like to call them, to kind of get all that scale off the bolts. There's usually 4, but this one only has 3. Makes life a little bit easier. So, and it is 18 millimeter for those 3 nuts in the back, and we're just going to use a little sledgehammer just to give that a little persuasion. See how that moves? So you need that movement on the axle so you can get in there and get these nuts. Hopefully you can see it. But I'm going to use this to break them. Oh, that one's actually really loose. Okay, that's scary. There's this top one. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And then we're going to get this bottom one. We'll get you from this angle. Okay. So, and then this is the other. And that one looks like I'm not going to be able to get in there with my extension. But I think I got enough clearance on this. No, I don't. Alright, so we're going to use a wobble. Gives us a little bit of an extension, as well as some wobble room. Okay, yeah, there we go. It fit in there pretty good. Let me just get it tracked on there. Okay, so we got that socket on. No, we don't have the socket on. Okay. Nope. We're gonna have to move that axle in a lot more. Trying to get this little nut in here. Okay, I think I got that. A little more extension. Okay, and now we're going. Alright, so you got that angle. I think we're going to put our Milwaukee on this, just to kind of expedite things here. Down there, everything's loose. And I'm going to need a little bit of an extension on this. Maybe we'll grab one. And I should have grabbed the wobble when I was over there, but let's see what we got. Okay, so that's one axle nut. Did I say axle nut? I didn't mean axle nut. You know what I meant. Alright. Let's get this little guy over here. So far, so good. And let's see how far we can get into this little guy here. Yep, we're gonna need a wobble. No, it's not that one. Or is it that one? No. There we go. 3/8. If you don't have a wobble, holy cow. You need a wobble. Okay. That might be a tough angle to get, but even with wobble. Alright. Let's go extensionless. See how that fits. Push that in. Get a little room in here. Alright. So we got that one off. So far, so good. Alright. Now, usually, these things do not want to come out too easy. So, I like to use handy dandy air hammer. And we're going to put some hearing protection on because it is going to get loud. Ah, some iced tea. Okay, good. Now it's all WD-40, so it should come out relatively easy, but definitely gonna need some persuasion. So I like to hit it from a few different sides, and there you go. All right, now we got the ABS sensor, which is basically a pressure clip in there. And they always put a little tricky one in. Alright, so that one's there. That one's up here. That belt clip came out. This one should come out just, I think, just as easy. Come on, let go. Alright, good. And this little clip here, these always, I don't want to say suck, but you know what I mean. Alright, there we go. Okay. Alright, so that's your old ABS sensor. And routes through here. I think we gotta shake it through a little bit. This needs a little left tap. Oh, no left tap needed. Alright, so that is your old bearing. And before you get too far, oh yeah, I mean you can feel the tightness in that. You can even hear it. Hear that? That bearing is dead. Okay, so here we got the new one. Actually, should really use plier snips on that, but don't do as I do as I tell you, like Dad always used to say. Alright, so this is going to get mounted through here, and then this, let's drop this through. Come on. Come on, there you go. Oh, before we get too far, let's throw some grease on that. And I like using the red marine grease because that stuff is super awesome. Okay, alright. I think we're good. I'd put it in with my glove, but then my glove gets all icky. Alright. Let me take hearing protection off because everything sounds weird. Okay. Alright, so we'll get this. And just give it a quick little turn. Make sure that the teeth are engaging. Turn it, and then it should slide in a little bit easier. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Get the top bolt kind of with a guide. I think that's the easiest bolt to get through. And that will slide in. Get your deflector. And then try to thread it in a couple threads so it's holding your bearing, so one, don't let loose and hit your toes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this one is going to be the pain in the butt one. We already knew that. We'll get that started a little bit. Okay, that looks good so far. Get another bolt in through the deflector. Get that thread started a little bit. Okay. I think that looks good. Alright, so let's reroute all this. And since I give you a new one of those, we'll put it in here. Pop that in. Okay, stay. You always gotta tell them to stay. Oh, look at that. They give me a new clip on this one too, so let's get rid of that guy. I like when they do that. It's so nice of everybody. And I keep hearing that little horn. I keep getting text messages. Because everybody loves me. Okay. Pull that out. And what happened? We got a little burr stuck in there. Alright. You know how we fix that? Handy dandy awl. Where is our awl at? Here, little awl. That's right. So we'll just push this in. Oh, that sucker's in there good. Hey, Mr. Sledgehammer. Yeah, help out. Huh, so far this is the hardest part of the whole job. Alright. Alright, that's not coming out. So, I think we will just give it a little persuasion. Plus, what's a good video without some sparks and fire? Some fire and brimstone. Come on, there we go. Just let go. Burn you out. Yeah, that sucker don't want to let go. I don't know what the heck that's made out of, but She's not even melting out there. That was one heck of a fastener. Normally I wouldn't care, but now it just seems like a mission. There we go. Now we're through. Yeah, that's gonna be the hardest part of the whole job. Alright. I think we're through there. That's freaking... Yeesh. Like that little afterburn shot. Alright, I'm spending way too long on this, I know. That hole is clear. Now we're gonna have to let it cool down. Oh, just let that sit there so it don't touch the wood. Cowbell, hi cowbell. Okay. Now let's cool that down. Okay. Goes there. And where did this look like? Oh, he went right up here. Nope, we're melting. Okay. Okay, not melting. Alright, and then this sucker went back in here. And the wires never seem to be long enough when you get new ones. Let me see some here. Well, that's where it's supposed to go. Okay. Well, at least we'll have this one connected correctly. Alright. Plug her back in. Alright, good snap. Put that in. And we'll just have that sit in there. Some weird little clip. There's no clip to that thing anyway. Okay, so we'll let this sit in there. So let's get these pulled in nice. And let's start off with the hardest one first. And you can watch as it gets pulled in on this side. And alright, I think we got enough room that we can put the 3/8 drive on. Alright, so we don't want to pull it super tight, but we want to tighten everybody down. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. Now let's torque them all. Especially since there's only 3 of them. Okay. We're good there. Like I said, these are actually surprisingly loose when I started actually taking them out. Okay. little guy out. Oh, okay. Work. Crack. Okay. Alright, we're good. Let's put the axle nut back on. Draw everything in. Now put it on your lowest setting if you have an air hammer. Turn it one more notch up. Alright, then when we get it down on the ground, we'll torque it all the way to spec. At least I know we got that nice and in good shape. Alright, put the brakes back on. Good. Moved up from last time. Okay. Alright, I like doing a little grease there. Red marine grease. That's not going to stay until I get the pad in place. So I'll put the pad in. Okay. Pad in on the other side. Disconnect brake caliper, slide that on. That's a little tight, so let's get the handy dandy brake press out. I'll just make that a little bit looser. Push them back a little bit. I don't think we need much room. Okay. That's better. Okay, good deal. Tighten these in. This was 17. think we can sneak in an extension on top. Make it a little bit easier. Collapse that down. That was taking too long. Let's put this on here to get a final hit. Okay, that's good. Bottom one. Let's make sure we got it torqued right. Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Alright, so that is it. Now, the only thing left to do is basically put the wheels back on, and this job is complete. And we're going to torque that axle nut out. Quick trick you can do, sometimes you can't get to the well of to be able to tighten that up. So a trick I've done is you get yourself a big crowbar, and you can put it on the lugs, and then you can so make sure you got enough torque set on that. Where we have that set? That's at 90. So we're going to turn this up to spec. Then okay. All right. And that's a quick little easy trick. So if you got it up in the air, you can torque it. And like I said, that might be necessary if you don't have a good wheel well to get to. But other than that, we're going to put the tire on, test the brakes, and we're good to go. Anyway, Brian from Garage Mahal, that's it on this rendition. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Have a great day. Be safe out there.